Boring! Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are covering two weekends this time around. Labor Day weekend 2016, September 2nd and September the 9th. 6 movies to look at. Why did I combine the two? I don't know. I wanted to get something out of this week because, yeah, the first two movies, yeah, they are not very good at all. Case in point with our first film, The Light Between Oceans, which stars Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander as a lighthouse keeper and his wife, who rescue an infant girl adrift at sea and raise her as their own. Years later, the couple discovers the child's true parentage and are faced with the consequences of their actions. Oh Lord, no! These two people found an infant girl adrift at sea, having no idea where her parents are at, and raised her as their own. But then all of a sudden, the parents finally come back. It's just kind of like, you know, if you missed her that much, then why the fuck did you not come back to her when you lost her at sea? I mean, that's part of the problem with this movie here. My bumbling way of trying to explain the plot here, but not even that. This is a pretty lame movie, and like I said, it's a boring snooze fest. A movie like this with Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, Rachel Weisz, and Brian Brown should not be this fucking boring, and especially with the director of this movie, Derek Cianfrance, who gave us The Place Beyond the Pines and also did Blue Valentine and Roofman. This is a good director, but this is his worst movie, so bar none. I mean, this movie was such a snooze fest, man. I mean, this movie is trying way too hard to be the new Notebook, because this is based off of a book called The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, and it has also the producer of Harry Potter, David Heyman, on board to produce it, and yeah, the end results speak for themselves. The most notable thing about this movie was that this was the last film released by Touchstone Pictures because it went defunct on the same day as its release. And I'm just going to take a guess here that this film has been sitting in a shelf for a couple of years, at least 1 year. They started shooting it in September of 2014. They finished it in November 2014. Yeah, it's been sitting on a shelf for over a year, so yeah. Not surprisingly that this thing kind of came and went because, yeah, it's a snooze fest of a movie, man. This movie bored the crap out of me. No movie with Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, and Rachel Weisz should be this boring. And from the director of The Place Beyond the Pines and Roofman, no, there's no excuse for this. So yeah, there you go. Light Between Oceans. So let's go ahead and move on to the second movie released on September 2nd, Morgan.
Baby, look at you now.
You must have been a beautiful knockoff of Ex Machina and Splice and somehow Megan, even though that came out 7 years later. I mean, man, this is a bad movie. With too good of a cast overall. That's Anya Taylor-Joy, fresh off of her breakout performance in The Witch, starring in this movie. Lee Weathers is a risk management specialist, played by Kate Mara, for genetic engineering company Synsect. She arrives at a rural site hosting its L9 project, an artificial being with nanotechnology-influenced synthetic DNA named Morgan, played by Taylor-Joy. The hybrid biological organism with the capacity for autonomous decision-making and sophisticated emotional responses is smarter than humans and matures quickly, and walking and talking within a month and physically a teenager despite being 5 years old. Again, it's literally a ripoff of Ex Machina, except with a much bigger cast involved in it. You got, as I mentioned, Kate Mara and Anya Taylor-Joy, but also Toby Jones, Rose Leslie, Boyd Holbrook, Michelle Yeoh, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Paul Giamatti. This is too good of a cast to be involved in a movie like this, and it's hard not to look at this and just see it as what it is, a ripoff of a much better movie, a way better movie, with a star that we had in a movie earlier this show, with The Light Between Oceans, with Alicia Vikander, but this was just a really, really bad film, man. A bad script, lackluster directorial effort, a wasting of a great cast. Really, like it's kind of like with The Light Between Oceans, it's boring, man. There's nothing interesting that happens in this movie whatsoever. I mean, the premise really isn't all that interesting either, when you really look at it in the long run, but yeah, what can you do? It's Labor Day weekend. They don't put out this was back before they put the good stuff out there. I mean, this was back before COVID. You know, this was back before Marvel saw this weekend and said, oh, we can put good stuff out on this weekend? Okay, we'll put Shang-Chi out there. We'll turn the whole idea of Labor Day weekend around, and, you know, the rest is it. The rest is history. I would say the rest is history, but come to think of it, I don't think most people have released a lot of big blockbusters on Labor Day since then. I'd have to double check, but there has to be at least a couple of them, but that's for another time, though, so. So there you go. Those are the two releases for Labor Day weekend. Now let's get to some actual good stuff. And this is probably easily the best movie we have this entire show. Clint Eastwood's latest film about Captain Sully Sullenberg, played by Tom Hanks. This is Sully.
The lives of all those passengers.
People call you a hero.
I don't feel like a hero.
Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX.
You know, this is back when Warner Brothers still treated Clint Eastwood with some respect and dignity, and just not dump his last movie, Juror Number 2, to die out of nowhere. I mean, that's one of those things was just like, what were you thinking, David Zaslav? But you think David Elson's going to be much better when he takes over Warner Brothers? I don't think so. This is Sully, though. Tom Hanks stars as Captain Chelsea Sullenberg, nicknamed Sully. And on Thursday, January 15, 2009, the world witnessed the miracle on the Hudson when he glided his disabled plane onto the frigid waters of the Hudson River, saving the lives of all 155 aboard. However, even as Sully was being heralded by the public and the media for his unprecedented feat of aviation skills, an investigation was unfolding that threatens to destroy his reputation and his career. And there is no denying that Clint Eastwood is a mastermind of great filmmaking. Some of his more recent fare at this point was mostly mediocre. Hereafter, Invictus, J. Edgar, Trouble with the Curve, not really great stuff from him overall, but when it came to directing, he still can direct. I mean, Jersey Boys, American Sniper, and this was a really good movie overall. I really enjoyed it. I really ended up enjoying this movie. A lot of it is because Tom Hanks, once again, knocks it out of the park. I mean, he very rarely does no wrong. I mean, he had a bad movie earlier in the year with a movie so terrible I can't remember the title, A Hologram for the King, and you know, it works because he perfectly encapsulates this role very well. This is a guy that's played Walt Disney. This is a guy that's played Mr. Rogers. I mean, this is a guy that is one hell of an actor. I mean, he could still do these different roles and make these characters his own while making him stand out as not being just, you know, it's just Tom Hanks all over again. He works well with Aaron Eckhart, who plays Sully's co-pilot in this. There's a good, strong cast in this movie. You know, Laura Linney, you saw Michael Malley in there from Nickelodeon Guts, Hope Mulcahy, who I've always liked, Anna Gunn, too. But not only in the main cast, they even got recognizable names for the Crash itself. You see Sam Huntington, you know, Jimmy from Superman Returns, Autumn Reisner, Jerry Ferrera, Turtle from Entourage, Cloris Leachman. Like, it's odd. Like, why did they get so many recognizable names for the plane scene itself? It just seems really odd of a casting decision, the highest recognizable faces for such a pivotal scene, and they really don't do all that much to stand out. I mean, they're just there to be lives on the plane. I mean, even Michael Rappaport is in this movie, showing up as for a bit as a bartender. It's just like, what's the point, Clint Eastwood? Why did you cast all these recognizable actors for really small roles where they really don't have a whole lot of impacts in overall? Maybe it's just because I know these people from other things. It just feels weird to see them all in here, not being part of the bigger cast in general here. I thought the plane crash overall was really good. I saw this in Cinemark XD, and when that plane goes up in the air, you do get the feeling that you're on a plane, and once those birds hit the plane and the engine goes out, I was literally sitting in my seat thinking like I was on this plane myself, just like, oh shit. I mean, I literally feel like I'm floating in the air. It's like when you're watching Soarin' down in Disney World and they take you up in the air, and you know, you're not really going anywhere. You're just on a conveyor belt with these three layers of people there. But that's what it felt like overall. Like, I don't know what happened. When those engines went out and the things quieted down, you get the feeling like everything stopped. And all of a sudden, this tension builds as you have the two pilots, you know, trying to land this plane in the Hudson. It's great tension overall, and I think it has a lot to do with the sound mixing and all that. It's a really, really incredible job on this film. And I'll give it credit, though. The movie is very short. It's only 90 minutes long, so it's a quick breeze of a film to get through. But then again, it does kind of lead to some of the downfalls with the movie in general. Like, you know, even though it's nice that it's only an hour and a half long, they still find ways to pad the film out that kind of make it unnecessary. I'm talking about the scenes with the National Transportation Safety Board, because as good as the acting is in those scenes, they get way too repetitive. The scenes in that movie, it's just like, you could have made it back to LaGuardia. No, we couldn't. You could have made it back to LaGuardia. No, we couldn't. You could have made it back to LaGuardia. No, we couldn't. And then the NTSB goes like, okay, you couldn't have made it back. It's like that bit from the Animaniacs episode where the Warners wanted to make a movie and they kept going to plots, and he just kept telling them, you can't make a movie, and they're just like, we want to make a movie, and then it cuts to them going like, you can't make a movie, and it kept going for like 5-10 times in a row. Like, I mean, you gotta pad this out, I know, but at the same time, how do you have padding in an hour and a half movie, especially a movie like this? Like, this isn't like one of those 80s animated movies where you can get by with like a 75-minute movie, even if, as long as you pad it out. No, this is a movie in 2016, a live-action film nonetheless, but also I think that as much as Laura Linney does give a good performance, I don't think the movie uses her very well to be the worried wife. It's odd because it's the second movie where Tom Hanks has been in the movie where his wife that does nothing. He has a wife that does nothing but stays at home and worries about her husband. Amy Ryan was the same thing in Bridge of Spies, so is this going to be I was wondering if this was going to be a thing overall with every movie he was going to do from this point, like a wife that does nothing but worries about her husband. And I know I'm sounding harsh, but Laura Linney was given a whole lot to do here, wasn't given a whole lot to do except stay at home and consistently check on her husband on the phone. Like, give her some personality. Show that these two have a connection, for God's sakes. But on top of that, the movie uses the dream sequence way too much. Like, as many of you know, if you've been watching or reading my stuff for the longest time, I hate the dream sequence cliche. It's my least favorite cliche of all time. And this film does it 3 times over the course of the film. It literally begins with a dream sequence that, I don't know, did anybody else feel uncomfortable? You're telling this harrowing story about a guy who saved all 155 people on a plane, and the movie starts off with a dream sequence of a plane crashing into a New York building. In a movie opening the weekend of the 15th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Am I the only one that felt uncomfortable watching that weekend? If you went to see it on opening weekend, I mean, it's nitpicking, but it does feel uncomfortable. And my whole point is that these dream sequences feel really pointless, and it feels like they're there to pad out the runtime. And again, I get why they're there. They're supposed to show the turmoil that Sully is going through after being through such a tragic event, but you could have told it better without having constant scenes of Tom Hanks waking up in bed. I mean, Flight came out 4 years prior, and that's a movie where you saw the trials and tribulations Denzel Washington went through in that movie, and it didn't resort to just doing the dream sequence 3 times here. And also a nitpicky way the movie ends kind of abruptly. Like, it ends with Sully and Skiles, Aaron Eckhart's character, being cleared of any wrongdoing, the NTSB asking if these two had anything to say, and Skiles just goes like, well, I wish it would have happened in July, and everyone's just like, ah, and the movie literally ends. Like, I was really expecting the Looney Tunes That's All folks to start showing up here, like it's like, Aaron Eckhart says, well, I wish it would have happened in July, and then everyone's just having a good laugh, like, ah, and then it goes like, pew, whoop, and then you hear this. I mean, that's how silly the ending is for this movie, and I know it's nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking a lot of things about this movie, but I did enjoy this movie more than I did American Sniper and Jersey Boys. I wasn't a big American Sniper fan like most people were. I think it works because of the great cast led by Tom Hanks, a really cool-looking plane crash, and a quick, smooth runtime. I just wish they didn't pad the story out with so many unnecessary stuff and cliches that I would have said we would have had a contender for one of the best movies of the year. But as it is, it's another good Clint Eastwood movie, another excellent Tom Hanks performance, so take that as a consolation prize and just have the time of your life with it. I think it's a good movie overall, but you definitely felt like there were empty portions that they really left out on the table here. So I guess the only thing I could say is I wish it would have happened in July. I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and move on to our next movie. Back to the crap again, and boy, this one, I mean, just, it's that time of the year again where Sony, for some reason, thinks that, hey, we put one of these movies that clearly is a film that could be released on Lifetime on the big screen with some of these notable stars, we'll make a quick killing, and sure enough it did with When the Bow Breaks.
When the bow breaks.
I'm gonna make you so happy.
Into September 9th.
It's obsessed. It's single white female. It's all these movies where you have a happy couple who brings in this third wheel, an equally as hot or sometimes even hotter woman than the woman or person than the person that's going to get harassed in this. And of course, what do you expect to happen in this? But stop me if you heard this. It's what am I saying? It's a revolutionary storyline about a woman who begins to develop a deadly crush on the husband of the couple she is surrogate mothering for. Original, I know. But the craziest thing is that there is good talent involved in this. Morris Chestnut, Regina Hall, John Cassor's the director of this, and if you don't know him, you've definitely seen his work before. He did stuff for the Kennedys. He did the first 7 seasons of 24. He's done a lot of television work. So, I mean, this isn't I mean, he's done a lot of film work too, but mostly he's known for his television work. This is a good director who's been involved with a lot of stuff you're familiar with, but man, this is not even anyone involved in this. Any of the good people involved in this can really make up for the terrible script for this. This is a lifetime. This is, like I said, a lifetime movie blown up for the big screen because they have somewhat recognizable names here, and it's opening in the middle of the second dumping ground of the year, late August, early September. So of course they're going to make their money back on this, and sure enough, that's exactly what this did. This did not cost much. $11 million this thing cost, brought back nearly 3 times that budget. So even though it wasn't as successful as The Perfect Guy the year before or No Good Deed, they're not going to complain about it. They know they made a hit out of it. But yeah, and again, it's the type of movie that this would have so easily been a Lifetime Movie of the Week, but because they had some recognizable talents in here, they put it out there, and the end results speak for themselves. A lackluster, steaming pile of garbage with people that are much better than the actual material given to them. So not much more to say about that one. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, which is The Wildlife.
Rosie, you're looking good.
Easy, big boy.
Come on.
I mean, it's better than Norm of the North. I'm not saying that as a compliment. This movie is not that great, but I mean, the fact that they did the story of Robinson Crusoe from the animal's point of view, it just why? And it's funny because as this is coming out, we just got the news that Dr. Seuss's company is putting out another Grinch book. It's going to be How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but this time around, it's from the dog's point of view. It's from Max's point of view. And, I mean, I've got the picture right here. Just look at this image right here. It's bad enough that this thing is a terrible idea, but does that picture look like AI to anyone else? Like, I don't know. Like, I think that looks like AI, and do you think Dr. Seuss would be happy to know that his family and the estate is using AI to promote a book that's completely unnecessary? Just like, why do we need a book from the perspective of Max? Like, what really happens in between when Max is sitting there waiting for the Grinch to steal Christmas and all that type of stuff? But we'll save that for Mr. Grinch in the back room here when we get to the holiday season, because, yeah, I'm sure he's going to have some choice words on that one, but anyway, why am I bringing this up here? Because this is exactly what this movie is. It's Robinson Crusoe, except from the point of view of the island's animals. Island animals voiced by mostly generic voice actors that you've heard. Not even generic voice actors that you may have heard before, but they're not household names. So I will give it this. It's not like Norm in the North, where they're bringing out people like Rob Schneider, Ken Jeong, or Heather Graham. I mean, the biggest stars in the English dubbing of this, because this was originally a German project, James Arnold Taylor and Yuri Lowenthal, and that's about it. I don't know anybody else in particular in this cast here, but Carl Herbert, he's done some dubbings of Dragon Ball Z. So, but yeah, other than that, though, like I said, it's slightly better than Norm of the North, but that's like basically saying, you know, this big pile of shit over here is the worst thing ever, but this little pile of shit is actually tolerable. It doesn't really matter. They're both piles of shit, and you're gonna have to clean them up in some way, shape, or form. Which, yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. But this one is at least, I don't want to say harmless, but it's at least tolerable. It's at least a movie where it's trying to do something different, even though it's going for the same generic kids movie jokes, like you saw in the trailer there, just like, oh, the pig's gotta shake her booty and all that type of stuff. It's just like, yeah, I'm not saying this is a good movie. I'm just saying that if I had to choose between Norm of the North and this, which are both released by Lionsgate, I probably should have started off by saying that, but yeah, I'd probably choose this one. But even then, it's like saying, you know, which bullet is, you know, what part of your head do you want to get blown off? Do you want your brain, you want to be brain dead, or do you want to just have it be, do you just want to have it be have it be slow and painful? Is slow and painful or quick and horrible? Like, pick your poison. That analogy doesn't make any sense, but you get the idea. This movie is not that great, but, I mean, it's better than Norm of the North, so. So, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie, and, speaking of movies that were not very good, boy, talk about a movie that has a perfect title, The Disappointments Room. I bet you're wondering what type of a movie you're gonna get here.
The Disappointments Room. Rated R.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. You surprised? Especially considering that it's directed by DJ Caruso? Yeah, you should be surprised it's a disappointment. But on top of that, no. That's only the tip of this iceberg, because the co-writer of this is Wentworth Miller from Prison Break, who has never written a script before, as far as I can tell from this. But yeah, it's probably a good thing that he's never done anything. Actually, no, I take that back. He wrote Stoker? Stoker was actually a good movie. So what the hell happened? Like, yeah, he actually wrote Stoker, and I didn't figure it out because he was actually credited as an alias name, Ted Folk. So yeah, I never put it together that was Wentworth Miller. So that makes this even more of a disappointment because, yeah, he wrote a good movie in Stoker. I don't know what the fuck they were doing here, but the plot of this movie is stupid white people in a horror movie doing stupid white things. I mean, it's literally that. A couple in a new house discovers a hidden room with a dark, haunted past. I mean, gee, I wonder what she's going to find in there. She goes in, it's basically, what's she going to find in there? Al Capone's vault that Geraldo Rivera was trying to find back in the 1980s. They went to the wrong place in Chicago. They just had to go to a place out in North Carolina to do it. I mean, what more do I gotta say about this movie, man? I mean, it's a movie called The Disappointments Room. I mean, the title is literally telling you what you're going in for. Kate Beckinsale's in this. Joe McRaney. Jolie Fisher. So, some notable names. Michaela Conlon from Bones. So, yeah, there's good people involved in it. Unfortunately, they're not given a good film to do. But then again, it doesn't help when this movie was sitting on a shelf because Relatively Media went bankrupt and put the film up for sale. Like, they had so many movies that needed to get out there. Like, we had this one. We had, what was another one? We had, I was going to say The Other Side of the Door, but that's Fox that put that out. Shut In, which we'll get to in December. I was wondering, I thought it was coming out in this time. Is around this time, but no, guess not. But Kidnapped was another one that they got pushed back a couple of years. But yeah. But then again, this is also the same company that gave us the delightful romp of 9 Lives. So can you see why they went out of business so quickly? But yeah. I mean, what more do you want me to tell you, man? The Disappointments Room. The title says it alone. So anyway, that's it for this week. And so with that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we'll take a look at a couple of other big movies. We're getting into the movies that the studio believes in, including Blair Witch, from director Adam Wingard, the reboot of the Blair Witch Project. We have the third installment of the Bridget Jones series, Bridget Jones's Baby, with Renee Zellweger returning in the title role. Oliver Stone is back with Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring as Edward Snowden in Snowden. Oliver Stone returned to form after a couple of really bad films in Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, and what was the other one? He had another one, I can't remember what it is now. Savages. How can I forget Savages? One of the worst movies of 2012. That should tell you everything you need to know about how much I feel about Oliver Stone in 2010s. And Snowden wasn't any better, unfortunately. We also have Eddie Murphy starring in the drama Mr. Church. I forgot about that movie coming out around this time. I thought that was later on down the road, but guess not. So, yeah, we got those 4 films to take a look at tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.